Why would you want to be a wife at this point? Understand why any woman would want to be a wife at this point. Like, how many times do we keep having to see the same story played out with married women? Think about all of the married women you know. All right. Think about how many married women that you might work with, went to school with, wives that are married. Think about all of the women you know that got divorced. Think about this. Think about how many women have been cheated on. Why would you want to be a wife at this point? When we start weighing the pros and cons of marriage, and we start seeing how women are being treated in marriage, why would any woman want to be married at this point? Like, marriage, the desire to marry should begin to decline with women, because what you should be seeing if you're smart, regardless to your age, what you should be seeing if you're smart, if you are observing what's happening around you, men were never valuing marriage from the beginning. It's rare to find a man who genuinely wants to be married and will be faithful through it. It's good men out here, don't get it twisted, but don't get me started on this tree again that I always talk about, how the valuable people are at the top of the tree. And the people that are easier to marry and be with are the low-hanging fruit and the fruit that's on the ground. So getting someone who will be good to you in marriage, they're at the top of that tree. And to get to the top of the tree, you got to climb from the bottom. So a lot of times in your face is a whole bunch of people you don't even match with. And you have to sift through all of that before you can even get to the top of the tree. No woman should want to be married at this point. All of these divorces, I mean, just this year alone. You know why I think a lot of people are getting divorced? COVID put everybody in a situation where they had to confront the real issues of their marriage and their family, because we all were put in a position to have no choice but to spend time with our family. So you couldn't avoid your family and the conversations, the hard conversations, the issues. Because, people like to hang out with their friends, go get a drink at the bar, go to work, go work out, something like that, to try to avoid dealing with their spouse and their family. People do it all the time, but with COVID, everything was closed. So you didn't have no choice but to be at home. And on top of that, because most people weren't working, the stresses of that on top of the fact that you couldn't really go nowhere added additional stress to the relationships. So a lot of people got involved in a lot of foolishness during COVID. I mean, 2020 had to be one of the worst years for everybody. So I'm not surprised that a lot of people are filing for divorce this year, because there are things that you didn't know about your spouse that you may have found out in 2020. Anyway, because we're seeing so many people getting divorced, and at the end of the day, it's usually for the same shit. And I said this before, marriage is business. Marriage is a business. So before you decide to get into a marriage, make sure that you yourself are prepared and are aware of what needs to be happening, or what you need to be investing your time in order to be a good partner for who you're involved with. A lot of people don't know how to run a healthy household. If marriage wasn't a business, you wouldn't have to go get a license to be a part of it. A lot of people are like, oh no, it's God, it's a bond, it's because you love one another. Well, if it's God and it's a bond, it's because you love one another, then don't go get a marriage license. Okay, you don't need a marriage license for that. Once you sign a marriage license, once you go get the paperwork involved with that, It now becomes a damn LLC. Your marriage is now an LLC. Okay? Your taxes are different. Your income is different. Stimulus, the little stimmy was different because you're married. What a lot of people get divorced. A lot of people get divorced. The reason why they get divorced is because of money, how the household is being ran, and how they can't agree with that, or infidelity. And the person who ends up cheating the most out of all of this is always the husband. I think women cheat too, but for some reason I feel like men are more prone to do it. Like women will cheat, and usually women will cheat once we've already been through so much in the situation that it's like we've mentally left the marriage or relationship first, and then our bodies will follow behind. And once our bodies have followed behind, there's really no turning back from that. It's like hard. Like once a woman cheats on you, it's going to be difficult to get her back, because the reasoning behind why she cheated is different from the reasoning behind why a man cheats. Men and women don't cheat for the same reasons. Men and women cheat, but both cheat, but they don't cheat for the same reasons. So men cheat all of the time. All of the time. That's usually every woman's complaint. Even inside of a relationship. Not just people who get married, but people inside of a relationship. We hear people breaking up left and right over cheating. Why would any woman want to be married? I mean, the disrespect. Like, men have completely made a mockery of this union. Like, completely. Especially in the Black community. And there was a day and age where people took pride in being married, because I think that it's kind of all you could do. You know what I mean? Like, now with social media and the way that the world is more accessible, you kind of got more options than you did before. You don't have to put up with somebody's fuck shit. Before, it used to be like, okay, well, I got a rotary phone. I don't necessarily have Wi-Fi at this point. I can't get on the internet and see pictures of some girl clear across on the other side of the country that's finer than my wife, and then slide up in her DMs and ask her to come out and hang out with me sometime. Back then, that wasn't happening as much as it's happening now. So it's easier for men to cheat. It's so much easier. And a lot of men cheat because of opportunity. They cheat because of opportunity first. Like, I think that's the main reason why they do it. First, because it's a number of reasons, but that one reason usually is the reason why, because it's there. Because it's there. So at this point, I just don't understand how any woman could see the value of marriage. You don't have to marry a man to get money from him. Okay? You don't really need to marry a man in order to get money for yourself. Now women have opportunities that we didn't have before. Now we're executives of companies. Now we're CEOs. Now we're, you know, doctors and lawyers and surgeons and things we couldn't be before. We are. So the old traditional marriages of us having to deal with a man because we need a room and board are over. Because that's mainly the reason why a lot of women were getting married before. You know? Now there was a time, like, traditionally, that I think in other countries where a lot of people got married because of wealth. You know, it used to be, oh, we take care of our daughter. Are you going to take care of our daughter, financially? Are you going to do the damn thing for us after this? Because she's accustomed to a specific type of lifestyle, and we would like for you as her husband to be able to provide that same type of lifestyle. I think they kind of do that in India, like some kind of arranged marriage type of vibe. But for the most part, in this new age, like modern women and modern men, I don't understand how anybody could see the value of marriage. The value of the obligation to stick to something that's making you miserable. We change so much in life. We change so much in life that Somebody that we was married to maybe 5 years ago, we might be a completely different person. Like, I look back at this old video I did, and I posted it on my community tab, and it was about Derrick Jackson. And I looked at myself then, and I look at myself now, and how different I am. Just a video that I did 4 years ago. Like, I was so young and funnier and lighthearted and still nerdy, still geeky. I'm still nerdy and geeky now, but I was really nerdy back then. So inside of the video that I did with Derrick Jackson, I'm sitting there with two pigtails and a pair of glasses on, just nerdy. And then I look at myself now and I'm like, wow, what a significant difference. So inside of a marriage, can you imagine being married to somebody and then 5 years after that or 10 years after that, you're a completely different person, or your partner is a completely different person, and you got to stick to that out of obligation because you don't want to look bad in the eyes of society, or you want to stay married for the kids? I don't understand why anybody would want to be married right now. Because if you genuinely love somebody, right? You genuinely love somebody and you want to be with them forever. Why do you want to be with them forever? Tell me, like, if you in love right now, you're in a relationship right now, you got somebody that you want to be with. Why do you want to be with that person forever when you don't even know what's going to happen to you next year? You don't know what's going to happen between you and that person. So why are you trying to cling on to forever? Why can't people be comfortable with what they are experiencing now? Like, my thing is, I'll come to a man and I'll want to be with him beyond, 6 months or so if the experience we're having currently is good. Like, as long as a man is not becoming toxic, I could deal with him. But I'm enjoying the moment with him at this moment, because at any moment things could change, right? Now, I'm not saying while we're living in the moment, let's go do something stupid or let me just jump its bones, but I just want to enjoy where we are at the moment. You never know what's going to happen far ahead. So why do we cling on to being with somebody forever when we don't know what's going to happen in forever? We change so much. Things change so much in such a little bit of time. It's like counting sand. You know how you ever seen the what's those things called with the sand inside of it and you turn it upside down, and the hourglass, where you turn it upside down in the sand and it's just thousands of little pieces of sand, just little grains of sand. One little grain of sand is like a decade of time when we start thinking about how the universe works and how many years this planet has been alive. When you start comparing that and you start thinking about how short your life is, like, a lot of people don't live to 100. A lot of people die in their 30s. And out of all of the years the planet has been here, you only get 30 years, and the planet has been here for billions of years. That's a little drop, grain of sand in an hourglass. You don't know what's going to happen with forever. So you can't go to a person and expect the person that they are today for them to be that same person a year from now. Some people just not that. Some people turn, some people change. And sometimes you're going to look at a person and you can be like, this is not the same person from 2 years ago. This person no longer fits me. And it's okay. It's okay for that to happen. And a lot of people don't feel like that's okay. They want to cling on. They want to hold on to somebody forever. And my thing is, man, I'll kick it with you until you give me a reason not to. I saw this post earlier today on Instagram, and it was from this therapist. She always posts stuff all the time about, narcissism and, just relationships in general. And she said something interesting to me. I mean, not to me, but she just posted it on her Instagram. And she said, I don't love my husband unconditionally. And he is absolutely okay with that. Because he feels like I should love him until he gives me a reason not to. If he becomes toxic, then he no longer deserves to be in my life. It's people staying married and inside of relationships that they know are toxic, that they know are dramatic, that they know are traumatic, just because they want to say they have a wife or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband. Why? Why would you want to live like our lives are way too short? Why would you want to spend this time that you have, this little bit of time that you have, being miserable? You don't know what happens next. You don't know what happens when you pass away and you go to a whole nother place. You don't know what's happening over there. So while you consciously are living in this life you're living right now, the choices that you make are important. And who you choose to spend your time with is important. Y'all have to start taking that more serious. I look back at a couple of years and a lot of stuff that I was paying attention to that I shouldn't have been paying attention to because it was like a waste of my time. I can't get that time back. Because sometimes I think back, I was like, I wish I could have got that time back because I would have did something different with that time. I would have allotted that time and did some other shit with it. You don't get it back. So if you're miserable inside a situation, like if you are consistently arguing with somebody every day, that's bullshit. Somebody having a communication problem, and I don't know if it's you or that person, but something needs to change in that situation. If you're getting beat, if you're getting lied to, if you're bored as fuck, I'm not saying be petty. Like somebody do one little small thing to you, you out. You know what I mean? But I think as a single person, like if you're single and you're not married or in a relationship but you're single, I think you should have a standard to where, yeah, if somebody do something little and it's a red flag, trust me, it will snowball later on. So pay attention to that little thing. Pay attention to that little thing before you start taking people serious and talking about you want to be with them forever. That's some bullshit. No one should want to be with somebody forever because people change. And we know people change. Some people change for the better. Some people change for the worse. And honestly, you don't know. Like you can hope and you can pray. But even if, let's say, for instance, you and the person that you're with, you both change for the better. Let's say you're in a relationship or you're in a marriage and you and your husband both change for the better. However, even though both of you have changed for the better, you don't fit with each other anymore. Like you may have changed, like couples have changed their profession and knocked down the whole entire relationship over because of that. Because of somebody changing their profession. Or what if one of your partners has to go to another state to work and you have to follow behind them? And so you go to a foreign place you ain't never been. So you being in that place and the things that happen in that place changes you. And you become a different person. Like say for instance, me living in Atlanta versus who I am in California. That's two different types of people. Because what I experience here is very different from what I experienced in Atlanta. So it changed me as a person. So the type of people that I would have fit with in Atlanta, I don't fit with them anymore because I've grown. I've outgrown it. So I fit with a whole nother set of people and a whole nother set of circumstances. So whatever was acceptable to me 4 years ago is for damn sure not acceptable now. So these are the things that you have to think about when you're thinking about relationships. Not every person is going to grow with you. Now we all hope that it could happen, but we change so much because of all types of experiences, not just moving to another state or because of work. You might overhear your partner talking negatively about you behind your back, and that could affect your entire relationship and change your perspective of your partner. It could be a number of things. It could be a number of things, or you've come to the realization that you want something else or want something specific or want, anything. Or maybe a lot of people, like when they get in relationships with people and they're overweight, and then they get in that relationship and they decide that they want to change who they are physically. And so they end up losing a lot of weight. And them just losing weight changes the dynamic of the entire relationship that they were in. And they end up losing their partners because a lot of times their partners wanted them to be fat. Yeah. Just like there are people out there who want somebody to be skinny and fit, there are people out there that want someone to be fat. Some people like BBW. Some people like thick chicks, you know? So that type of dynamic changes relationships. Then you got situations like, for instance, Kim and Kanye West. Kim and Kanye West was all lovey-dovey when they first got married, blah, blah, blah. They fit each other perfectly. And then Kanye changed drastically, not just with his mental illness, but because he became super religious. And because he changed his religion and decided to take God more serious, he started putting pressure on Kim to be more wholesome and religious, which was something that she didn't want to do, because the kind of woman he used to want was her, and she didn't become the kind of man, the kind of woman that would fit him now. She didn't grow with him in that way. So they filed for divorce. You should never want to be with somebody forever. And marriage kind of puts you in a position to where you can't just decide to leave. Now, I'm not saying abruptly leave somebody without giving them an explanation or telling them what's up. A lot of times when you want to leave a relationship, there have been signs that relationship is over anyway. It's like people, when you've been in a relationship, you kind of can feel when things are starting to turn sour with somebody. So, of course, it's just like, what's really happening with us? When a person tells you, hey, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore, a lot of times, most people aren't surprised, honestly, because of the experiences that they've been having in a relationship. So, when you're married, you have to go through so much in order to separate from each other. When you're single, breaking up can be a little faster. Now, when we're talking about spiritual ties and soul ties and stuff like that, if you are a spiritual person, like I'm into metaphysics and spirituality, I'm a Buddhist, so to me, when I interact with a man, I interact with him on a spiritual level, even if we're just friends and we on the same energy. Like if he in my space, if he in close proximity to me, we're exchanging energy. All right, so if you've been exchanging energy with someone for an extended amount of time, a lot of times it's difficult to break that energy. I said that before about my son's father, how difficult it was to break that soul tie from him. Like that shit was hard. It was almost like cutting off a limb. That's how hard it was to break the soul tie. It was such a strong hold. So a lot of people who are spiritually connected to each other tend to stay together, and they tend to flow like evenly inside of a relationship or a marriage. They tend to grow together. Like it's almost like if we want to talk about it in a religious type of way, it's kind of like an equally yoked type of thing. If you're Christian, you know what that means. An equally yoked type of situation. That's how it is when you're spiritually connected to someone. So when you grow, they tend to grow with you. But a lot of times, most relationships are not spiritual ones. It's just two people who fell in love. They like having sex with each other. They can agree on how to run a relationship and a household, and they just like having fun, and they laugh and do all that stuff together. A lot of couples don't even pray together. Like I wonder, like I'm gonna do a poll on my Instagram to see how many people that are inside of a relationship actually pray together. I'm gonna put that poll on my community tab too, so you can see how many people actually pray with their partner. Cause I think out of all of the relationships that I've been in, I've only prayed with like one or two guys. Prayer was not something, or even meditation. So the spiritual aspect of relationships makes a lot of relationships stronger. Usually people who are spiritual are extremely positive, even religious people. Like I said before, the only reason why I would even like going to church is because 9 times out of 10, depending upon the church that you go to, most people want some positive shit. You know what I mean? Like that's why I like being around a whole bunch of motivational speakers. Like right now, I'm around a whole bunch of people who spend their time uplifting one another, teaching other people. That's all we do. So I love that. I fit right on in with them people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we sit back and toss each other ideas, and we teaching each other stuff and supporting one another. That's my tribe because I'm supportive. So that's what I fit in with. So building friendships with people that are like you is easy, but when you spiritually connected to people and they're spiritual or they're religious, those bonds last longer because it's from a positive place. Like, it's from a more, I don't know, I can't explain it. I'm gonna have to like think about this and like talk about this in another live stream on another day about the spiritual nature of people who get married or have friendships, because it's like when you do pray and meditate together and you're consistently putting positive energy into each other, it's longevity. Longevity is there. Now, what we're not doing, I can definitely tell you, is sitting here wishing we can be together forever. Cause most of us are like positive now, and if it happens, like we're not consciously like, you know what, we're gonna stick to each other forever. Even in relationships, when you're spiritually connected to people, a lot of times it's I'm going to be with you until it no longer feels like something we should be doing. Like when the energy is off, then that's where we're going to stop dealing with each other. That's usually how spiritual people handle things. But a lot of people, most relationships, they don't have that type of bond. And that's why a lot of people get divorced. A lot of people break up a lot because they don't factor in that part of a relationship. People scoff at that type of stuff. They don't think that this stuff is real. Like, they don't think it could actually work if they take the time to do the prayer and the meditation. But I'm telling you, like earlier today, I was so stressed. And the reason why I was so stressed is because I was up all night last night with my son. Yesterday, I played with my son all day outside. We went outside and just walked all over the place, ran all everywhere, played all day. So by the time 8 o'clock came, 8 p.m., he was so tired, he just fell out. Now, he usually goes to sleep at like 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock, but he went to sleep at 8 o'clock. He went to sleep an hour early and then woke up at 1:30 in the middle of the night telling my son he wants something to eat. When he woke up in the middle of the night talking about he wants something to eat, he stayed up until 5 a.m. I didn't even go to sleep. Remember, I told y'all, if you listen to my past live streams, I go to sleep between the hours of midnight and 4. Okay? Midnight and 4 a.m., that's my sleep time. Outside of that, I don't really be asleep unless I accidentally fall asleep in the middle of the day. So I didn't go to sleep last night. I'm still up from yesterday. Okay? So I haven't been asleep yet. So I had to like kick back a damn watermelon Red Bull to be able to function all day today. And it was so damn difficult. Like, so I started off my day and it was just starting all wrong. It was just whack. So I was like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. I ran me some bath water, put some bubbles in the tub with me, and I asked my daughter to watch my son for at least an hour or two. And I cut on the meditation music and got in the tub. And I started doing like visualization stuff. Like, I started to think about what kind of woman that I want to be, the stuff that I have improved already, and what kind of woman do I want to be next week or a month from now or a year from now. Like, what size do I want to be? How do I want my body to move? How do I want my body to function? How much money I want to make? What kind of atmosphere do I want? Do I want to live in the same house that I'm living? Do I want to start another business? Do I want to have another man in my life? What about my son? These are all things that I was thinking about, and at the same time doing some type of affirmation to where I'm speaking into existence what I'm experiencing. Nowhere in there did I say I wanted to be married, by the way. Nowhere in there. Because, when I think about a man coming into my life, I think about him in a temporary manner. But right after I did this Calgon Take Me Away meditation shit, I was good after that for a while. And then I had me a watermelon Red Bull after that. And I was good until about an hour ago. I started getting tired. But I was like, I got to go do a live stream. Before that, I sat down and did the meditation of doing that Rubik's Cube. If you look at the video that I posted before this, I did a Rubik's Cube video. And I solved the Rubik's Cube in 3 minutes. I show y'all how I do it. That's a form of meditation for me. Just to sit down and think about something that has nothing to do with everything else that I think about every day. That's all meditation is. It's just for you to take a moment and relax your mind from all of the stuff that you think about all the time. And so anyway, I did that shit. And I was good money and I was like, yo, I'm about to about to go do a live stream before I take it down. And so but I think about the reason why I think about men temporarily, and this is funny that I'm about to say this because I wasn't even thinking about sharing this inside of a live stream, but this is actually conducive and germane to the topic. So a friend of mine is a relationship expert as well, and he and I was talking yesterday night via Facebook Messenger, and we were talking about Derek Jackson and Derek Jackson's wife. And I was trying to explain to this guy that Derek Jackson and his wife were innocent in 2016 when Derek Jackson first started, building momentum on the internet as this, guy that gives relationship advice. And to me, that Derek Jackson was just some type of guy who um, played football at Alabama. He was just some country bumpkin ass dude that knew nothing about social media. And I don't think that he was expecting things to go the way that they went. And when the fame and popularity came into his life, he didn't know how to handle it. And so I don't think he had any intention of this happening, especially with his wife, the way that that happened. I don't think he was thinking in that way, but a lot of people think like he's this narcissist that orchestrated this. And I personally don't think that. So me and him are having that conversation. And so he really does not like Derek Jackson. And he posted a whole bunch of stuff on his Facebook. And he was talking about the reason why Derek Jackson has the issues that he has is because of his bad relationship with his father. So I asked him, hey, Terry. Oh, I wasn't going to sleep because my son was up. But I'm going to sleep after I do this live stream. So, um, damn, what was I saying? Oh, he was saying that Derek Jackson has a problem with his father, and that's the reason why Derek acts the way he acts. So I asked him, I said, do I come off like I have daddy issues to you? Like as a man, when you see me and we're talking all the time, you're a relationship expert, I'm a relationship coach, life coach type of person. That's what I do, and that's what I've been doing. And I'm just starting to take it more serious than I was before, right? You seen me for years. Do you think I had daddy issues? And it was a good thing to ask him because I see men always claim all of the time that I must not like men. And I'm like, are you saying that because what I'm saying about you negatively? I mean, saying about men, the observation that I made about men, the negative observation that I made about men, are you saying this to me because what I'm saying applies to you and you don't want to take accountability and do some self-reflection? Or do you genuinely feel like I am not coming from a place where I mean well and I just genuinely hate men? Like, think about this. Is this what you really feel? I usually have to ask men that when they tell me, then I say, do you realize that I give men relationship advice? And do you realize that I've helped a lot of men improve who they are? So most of the time I'm saying something positive about men and I have no problem with giving women that same energy when it's time for me to say something negative about women. It's not a gender thing with me. I give men relationship advice because it's not a lot of people out there doing that. And a lot of men feel like they don't need relationship advice, but most of y'all do. I'm here to tell you that most men need relationship advice. Most men need counseling. Y'all need counseling and relationship advice way more than women do because y'all are a big problem inside of relationships and marriages because you guys weren't taught what we were taught about being in a relationship. Y'all were taught the complete opposite. So when we get into these unions with you guys, it's a shit ton of friction. A lot of men don't understand women at all. So anyway, I asked my friend, did I seem like the type of person that had daddy issues? And he said to me, I can tell that you do not value men. And it's either because, he said, I can tell you don't value men, and it may be because they have always treated you poorly. So I said to him, I said, I always had positive male role models in my life as a kid. All right. For anybody that feels like because I have like sex appeal and I have an OnlyFans and I'm like, the way that I am, I'm a little tomboyish, I'm unorthodox, I'm all of these things. If you ever thought that there was a possibility that I had daddy issues or something like that, this section of this live stream is for you. Okay? I know, right? I hate when they say that too. So, so listen, I said to him, I had positive male role models in my life, right? My father, I only have two memories of my father. My father passed away, but in my late 20s, the best advice my father could give me about being a good woman for a man was that I needed to be a hoe. He told me in order to keep a man, I would have to be a hoe. He told me I had to get in touch with my freaky side. And that was the only way I was going to be able to keep a man. Right? He told me that before he passed. I was like, wow, okay. And the other memory that I have of my father is when I was a little girl, we would slow dance and I would have my feet on his feet. Those are the only memories I have of my father, really. Right? And he was like, the guy I was talking to, the relationship guy, he was like, no disrespect, but your father seemed fucked up. I was like, I know, right? I was like, I know, my father's fucked up. So anyway, and then I said, my stepfather, like my father he was kicked out of the military, and after he was kicked out of the military, he became a dope dealer, right? And my stepfather was laundering money. My stepfather was a gym rat, though. He always took care of his physical appearance, and that's basically what he taught me to do, to take care of my physical appearance. But he was molesting me. So I don't necessarily have daddy issues. That those experiences with them isn't the reason why I am the way that I am with men, because for a long time I thought men were kings. I thought men, I needed to have a husband. I always thought that I would only be valuable once I had a husband. I thought that for a long time. I didn't stop thinking that until I was like 35. Like I really thought that, men were the prize and that I needed to do everything I could to make sure that I had a man in my life. Right? I don't even think I was 35. I think I might have been 33 when I figured that, when I stopped thinking that. And so I said to him, the reason why I don't value men is because men have always shown me that they don't value women. And it isn't just how they treat me, it's how they treat other women. It's how I've seen men treat most women. You know what I'm saying? So it has nothing to do with my daddy issues or how men have treated me. It's just how men have treated women, period. That makes me think that men are expendable. They are not, listen, they are replaceable to me. Fuck up if you want to. I will not hesitate with leaving you alone. That's my track record with men. I do not cling on to a man. I do not hold on to a man because I did that in my early 20s. I did that. I used to beg them and try to be, the best version of myself I could be for them. Not myself, for them. Because I felt like if I loved them more, they would love me back. But that's not how men operate. You can't give a piece of shit more of what he doesn't appreciate to begin with. He doesn't know what he has. It's like trying to shove a gold bar down some person's throat. It's like, here's this gold, or here's $1 million for you, and they're throwing it just out because they don't know. They don't know any better. And I said this, I did this analogy before where I said, you can put a diamond and a cubic zirconia in front of a dude. And if he ignorant and he don't know any better and he in a different stage in life than he should be, he'll pick that cubic zirconia every time. He won't even know that a diamond is right there. Because to him, they both look the same. They both look the same. Sometimes men cannot see how valuable something is until they learn their lessons later on. To me, men have never been the prize. Like now that I realize what's going on, I realize that men aren't the prize. Women are. Men, let me tell you something. Men are doing everything humanly possible to get women. They're lying to women, manipulating women just to get women to sleep with them, just to get women to be with them, be around them. It's that deep. They're doing just about anything. And we can go back to using Derek Jackson as an example. All of these women that he's sleeping with simultaneously, he's lying and manipulating all of them just to get them all to be with him. That takes a lot of damn energy. That takes a lot of damn energy to sit there and manipulate and lie and think up some stuff just to get some pussy, man. That lets you know how valuable you are if a man gotta lie to you to get it. He out here doing anything just out of desperation to get you. And you want me to sit here and believe that men the prize? Honey. It's women. They out here doing anything. It's men out here with nice cars, money, out here having good careers, out here being all of these things just so they can get women. It's men out here dressing nice, getting a haircut, going to the club every weekend just to get women. But y'all sitting here thinking they the prize. And so that's why I'm such a savage with men. That's why men always see, oh, she don't give a fuck about us. She don't value us. It's because I'm a savage with men. Because it's like, I know I'm the prize. You're not about to sit here and make me think otherwise. I know how valuable you think women are. And then there's some men out there that try to depict themselves as the man that doesn't give a shit about women when it's bullshit. In the back of every man's mind that's sitting up here dragging women or claiming they don't want to do this and that for a woman, in the back of his mind, he want a woman so bad. Putting on this facade like he don't want a woman. Most men want a woman or a man, but most men want a woman. And when men lash out at women, when they're insecure and lash out at women and try to put women down and pull women down, that's their insecurity showing. Women they feel like they can't obtain are the ones that they drag. The ones that they try to make, like a man will feel like a woman is at the top of that tree. You know that tree I keep talking about, that proverbial tree. He'll see a woman that's at the top of that tree. He'll be at the bottom. Instead of improving who he is and getting the tools that he needs in order to get to the top of the tree, what he does is tries to get that woman to come down from the top of the tree by dragging her, disrespecting her, trying to make her feel lower than what she is. So in his mind, she can become more attainable to him. Men feel like if they can convince a woman that she ain't shit, she gonna come up off that high horse and come down to him. Anytime you see a man doing that, anytime you see a man disrespecting a woman, tearing her down, calling her names, doing all that stuff, what he's trying to do is pull her down so he can reach her. And it ain't even about him trying to be with her sometimes. Sometimes he just needs to feel better about himself. Sometimes men need to stack body on top of body on top of body just to stand on top of those bodies, just to reach the type of confidence that they want to have in themselves. And that's not even a healthy form of confidence. It's more like arrogance. It's a full sense of confidence. I just got out of a narcissistic relationship. You know why I hate the term narcissist? And I used this shit just a minute ago. I hate using it because everybody uses it. It's almost like everybody uses that term just to just to use it as an insult to insult somebody. I noticed like everybody's using it, and I'm pretty sure most people don't even know what it means, you know? But I'm not trying to discredit you saying you just got out of a narcissistic relationship. I'm just saying so many people say that. I'm not saying that's not directed at you. Please do not feel like that. I'm sorry I said that right after that. But so I'm glad you survived the narcissist relationship, because honestly, they be about supply. So kudos to you for being strong enough to be able to walk away from the situation, because it's so many women that's stuck in that situation trying to change them, men. I had a woman talking to me early yesterday morning, and she was like, listen, I can't do this. She, one of my employees, she was saying she couldn't do the job anymore. And I said, do you feel like you can't do the job anymore temporarily, or is this a permanent thing? And she said permanently, because I just got back with my child's father, and I'm trying to work things out with him, and I'm spending so much time with him and my family. Just dealing with him is just so stressful. It's just putting so much on me. And I was thinking to myself, why would you want that for yourself? So since I was thinking that to myself, I said it out loud. I was like, honey, you better off just not dealing with him at all, because I'm telling you, a narcissistic person got a deep-rooted situation. They need a psychologist or a therapist or some shit. They need a licensed professional, not you sitting there trying to convince them to be a better man or convince them to stop, manipulating. I'm like, you sit here and play with him if you want to, but once he start affecting the way that your kids move or what's happening with your kids, that's going to present a problem. I don't even know why you would want to take him back. And a lot of women want to take these men back because they feel like, oh, we have kids together. It's going to see, I need for my kids to have both of their parents. Listen, these are things that you have to think about before you have the kids. That's why I try to tell women, be selective with these guys, man. Be selective about even who you sleep with. A lot of women want to have casual sex, and I get that. I understand that. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to have sex, on the first night, or whoever you want to have sex with. Don't let anybody make you feel like you can't do what you want to do with your vagina. That shit is yours. You do whatever you feel like is comfortable for you. But you have to realize something. Whatever you choose to do, you still got to deal with the consequences of what's going to happen after you make that choice. So if you choose to go sleeping around with people and you're not getting to know these dudes first, you got to get to know them. You end up sleeping with a guy, build this soul tie with him, end up having a baby with him, and then you wake up and start seeing who he truly is. See, that spell be put on you at first, and narcissists are really good about putting a spell on you first. But just men in general be so charming and so manipulative and lying so much. A lot of times you don't even see that shit until something happens where it makes you have to wake up. I told a guy the other day that fuck boys and nice guys act so similar. Like, so fuck boys and nice guys act so fucking similar that you can't tell the difference as a woman. And it takes so much time. And he said to me, fuck boys are patient predators, because they will wait and wait and wait. So the 90-day rule don't be working on them. They will wait that 90 days. And so as women, you gotta be like almost like a goddamn detective when you meet these men. I heard a woman on YouTube the other day saying, before you move in with these dudes, give him a background check first. That's how serious this is. Because these men are putting on so many facades and fronts just to get you. Stop thinking they the prize, man. The prize is you. Look at what they going through just to get you. That's why they expendable to me. Because I feel like you ain't even got to do all that to get a woman. Most women, you can just tell them what's up and they just roll with you. They just be like, oh, okay, cool. Then I get the arrangement. You know what I'm saying? We can do that. Like that last chick that was sleeping with Derek Jackson, she was like, listen, I was just sleeping with him. That was it. I was trying to get over my ex. I wasn't trying to be with him. And we slept with each other for like that for 6 months. We had a little casual thing. That's what we was doing. It wasn't nothing, more than that. She kept it a book. So it's women out there that will do that. Men do not have to lie to get vagina in. They don't have to lie or manipulate to get the type of women that they want. They can just say what's up. And if the woman that they are attracted to or pursuing says no, they can find another chick that's probably better looking, better, whatever, that'll say yes. So I don't know why men go through all that. I went savage mode. Bear maced his girl. That's dangerous. Cause you don't. Here's one thing I want to tell women not to do. Try to get back at these dudes when they be doing shit. Women gotta stop doing that. You know what I mean? Like, because what usually affects them, if you really want to hurt them, like if you honestly, you really want to have some level of revenge, you really want to hurt them, be so kind when they leave or when they do something and y'all got to end the relationship. When you hurt, be like, I'm so hurt. That hurt me. And I just don't want to deal with you at all. And be so calm. Oh my God. They think about that shit. That shit affects them more than when you lose your shit. I'm trying to tell y'all, I'm put y'all up on game. These men, they be telling me, basically how to deal with them. Because I give them counseling. I'm talking to them. When a woman is calm and replies to them in such a calm, like, you hurt me, not sitting there crying and shit, but just like, you really hurt me. And after a certain point, I don't want to deal with people anymore. And you just walk off and stop answering the phone and don't chase them around the door. Yo, they think about you forever. They circle back. You the one. Do that. That is more effective than you busting windows out the car. You feel me? That's more effective than bleaching their clothes, setting their house on fire, little stuff like that. Yeah, don't listen. Men, men, the way that men are, once you start getting to a point where you start realizing that men are a luxury, not a necessity, and I mean a luxury like dessert after your favorite dinner. Like after you eat dinner, you might want a piece of cheesecake. That's the luxury I'm talking about. They are not a necessity. You don't need them to survive. Okay? Once you get that in your mind, I have that in my mind, so I'm dangerous. I'm dangerous to men. Because they're like, what is she gonna do next? You know what I mean? Because I'm savage with it. When you are not afraid to lose a man, it is so easy for you to get a man to be the type of man that you want him to be. He'll just want to naturally be that man for you. And if he's not that man for you, you just simply leave without ease. I mean, with ease. Like I said about the guy that was playing the games with me, and I flat out was like, oh, you just want to be friends? Okay, can you introduce me to one of your homeboys or your coworkers? Because I'm trying to date. He was like playing games. So I was like, oh, okay, you want to play that game? All right, let's play platonic friends. All right, introduce me to one of your homeboys or one of your coworkers because I'm trying to date. Do you know how many women would have been scared to say that to a man? Because they want him so bad. Yeah, I wanted him. Yeah, I liked him. Yeah, I wanted him to be with me. But he didn't want that. So what I look like chasing after him, I'm like, oh, well then nigga move out the way so I can find somebody that's gonna match my fly. You ain't it. Like, thank you for telling me. I appreciate it. Thank you for showing me. So move out the way and let me find somebody that's best for me. And that's how more women should be. I'm telling you, the more women feel comfortable with letting these niggas just walk off when they do stuff, the more men will stop behaving how they do, getting away with shit. Men treat women bad because women allow it. When one woman allows some shit, and then another woman allows some shit, and then another woman allows some shit, the next thing you know, 20 women done allowed this man to be a bastard. He meets a woman who doesn't deserve being treated negatively, and he ends up treating the next 20 women like that. These men act how they do because of us. We allow it. We the ones in power, man. We got it. We the shit. We the shit. So it's up to us to be like, fuck that, my nigga. Bruh, not in 2021. Not today. Because I mean, at some point, you gotta have some self-esteem. These men are these men are banking on you to not have some self-esteem and for you to think they the prize. You feel me? I'm a Gemini. I'm a Gemini. Every time I did a TikTok where this is my age, this is my sign, this is where I live. Y'all know what I'm not. You know what I'm talking about? This is what I like. That Zodiac song. And if you ain't been on TikTok, you ain't gonna know what I'm talking about. But on TikTok, it's this guy. He did a song called Zodiac, and people just redid videos using that song. And so I did one. And I said I was a Gemini. Everybody coming in the comment section like, oh shit, I was right with you till you said you was a Gemini. I said, listen, I tried to tell all the guys, I said, listen, don't come in my comment section. Take it out on me, your poor choices in women. Just cause you chose a poor Gemini. Don't think I'm that. You know what I mean? Don't think that. I just want women to value who they are and stop allowing these men to make you think that you got to be married. You don't have to be married to be happy, man. You don't. They're not a necessity. They're a luxury. They just like a handbag and some shoes. Okay, don't objectify men like that. That was bad advice. I'm sorry. Don't do that. When you meet a good man and he your friend and he accepts you for who you are, y'all have a good time together and y'all can do TikToks together, y'all can do YouTube videos together. Y'all can cook together and paint together and whatever it is that you love doing, and y'all can do that together. Those are the ones that's valuable. But I'm telling you, the average man that walks up to you is not that. Let's go back to me referencing that tree again. There's going to be so many men that come in your damn journey, okay? They're going to walk all up and through that motherfucker. And it's up to you to see him, have yourself in order mentally, emotionally, spiritually, for you to be able to pick up on what kind of man he is off break. And it took me a long time to get to the point where I'm like that. Because before, what was stopping me from trusting my own judgment was my desire to want to be with a man so bad that I would toss them the benefit of the doubt quickly. And as women, we have to stop doing that. We be seeing shit wrong with them. We be like, okay, we can work with this. Not the Build-A-Bear dudes, man. No more Build-A-Bear dudes. No more trauma bonds. No more down ass chick. No more. No. 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 The second women start demanding more is the second we get better from men. Period. Get better, a better, greater man. Now, I'm not saying that the Dusties need to be alone. They just need to go date the Dustettes. Okay? You just choose to not be the Dustet. All right? That's all I want women to do. Don't be Dustettes. And don't accept the Dustet shit or the Dusties and their bullshit. Okay? No woman should be pressed to be married at this point. Because it's really, how is it beneficial? Can anybody tell me why marriage is beneficial? If you're not getting money out of the situation and you can get your own money, is it the forever that is glamorized? I got to be with this person forever. Ask yourself, why do you feel like you can even be with somebody forever? You don't think that there's a possibility that you might even change and you might not even want them forever? Think about who you were 5 years ago. Think about who you were 10 years ago. Think about who you were 20 years ago. You're not the same person. I know I'm not. Who I was 20 years ago was in college. I was signed to a record label, singing, writing. I would have never guessed in a million years that I would live in California. I would have never guessed in a million years I would be a life coach or giving relationship advice. I had gave up on ministering. I never thought I would be back to talking about God and spirituality. I was a whole different person. I was a whole different person. And I think the hardest thing is I have with me right now is I said this in my last, not my last live stream, but the live stream before that, that I was going to start talking about God more in my live streams and see who was actually will continue to listen to me. Because the biggest problem that I've had over the years of me being on YouTube is I was never talking about what I wanted to talk about. I always wanted to talk about relationships, of course, but what I wanted to talk about more was spirituality, metaphysics, and more about business, money, and wealth. And I felt like if I talked about those things, nobody would be listening to me. And now that I sit here and I would, put myself out on a limb and was like, you know what? I'm going to start talking about what I want to talk about. And if I lose subscribers, so be it. I would just replace them with more people that, fit what I'm trying to do in my life because I spent too much time dealing with people that weren't even supposed to be in my energy to begin with. I was trying to hold on to people that weren't even on my level. And I never, like, I feel more in place with the people that I am now than I ever felt about other people that I used to try to link up with. Like I used to try to link up with a lot of content creators on YouTube and that's in the black sector, like the Lovely Teas and the Yannis and the Cynthia G's and the Nyla Says and all of those women that I felt like, not to say they're bad women, but I felt like these were women that I wanted to, try to interact with and try to build some type of, rapport with. But then I realized that honestly, the type of businesswoman I am, I didn't fit with none of them anyway. Because when I look at the businesswomen that I'm interacting with now, they match with me way better than any of those women that I wanted to interact with before. And so I remember saying somebody saying to me recently in my comment section, when I spoke about my experiences with the women on YouTube, and they said to me, "You just mad because these women don't accept you," and I said, "That's not really no. I'm not upset that these women didn't accept me. I'm actually happy that they didn't, because had I still." Been clinging on to those type of women, or I've built some type of friendship with those women, I would have never become as successful as I am now. Like I'm on a whole nother level of success that those women are on. I'm on a whole different like direction, and had I still tried to be a part of these cliques on YouTube and try to fit in with all of these people, I never would have grown into what I've become now. Like I'm on a whole nother level as far as businesswoman and as far as wealth goes. And they don't match me anymore. And I don't think they ever matched me, but I definitely don't even desire a connection with them because our mindsets are very different. It doesn't mean that they're bad women. It just means that we're different. I'm just a different, like I've said before, I don't like gossiping and shit. I hate talking about other people. Like I have hated this whole Derek Jackson phase. Oh my God. I hate it. I've hated to have to talk about Derek Jackson because people are like, Soncerae, didn't you like support him at some point? And I'm trying to explain to people, it's not that I supported him at some point. It's more of I'm one of those people where I try to have a balanced, unbiased opinion about something. And every time I've spoken about Derrick Jackson in the past and even now, I've said the same shit. The advice that the man has is good, but I think he might be a tinge of hypocritical. And even if he was to have stole some ideas or stole some books or blah, 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 I'm not all upset with him like everybody else is because I realize that the man is human. And I think everybody is expecting me to be like ultra pissed at Derrick Jackson, and I'm not. He was disrespectful as fuck, but he did some human being type of shit. He's still a human being to me. So it's not that I supported him. I just looked at him like, oh, he's just another person trying to, figure life out. He is in his journey, and I can't be holier than thou. I can look at him and be like, yo, he just did some shit that we done seen a whole bunch of other niggas do. How many times have we seen men do what Derrick Jackson did? Be all hypocritical, put on a facade, cheat on his wife, lie. We seen that. This is not a new story. This is a Tyler Perry movie that we done seen over and over and over and over and over again. So why is everybody so surprised? I don't understand this. And if you would have listened to all of the other women, because so many women had talked about this man before. In a video that I put on my community tab, it's a woman named, what is her name again? Damn, Tezra. Anyway, Miss Brown. She in there talking about Derek Jackson in that video. And this was 4 years ago when she was saying this. The stuff that she's saying applies right now. Like it's almost like she predicted this. If you go listen to that video, you hear that woman in there, and she just like, I don't like this dude. And I'm saying, well, listen, I try to tell women not to take him literally. He's just a relationship expert. You don't have to like eat, sleep, and shit and breathe him. But I'm not about to sit here and be judgmental. You know what I mean? Two coming together in front of family. I've seen marriage up close growing up, and it's a good thing to me. Okay, so that's what I'm asking. I'm asking anybody who's had a good experience with marriage, because even out of all of the marriages I've seen, only one of them, even inside of my family, only one of them was healthy. And when people start talking about marriage, their marriage, just random people, because you have to realize who I am. I've been giving counseling for many, many years. So I've been talking to people of all races, of all genders about marriage, relationships. I've been doing this for such a long time. And when I'm talking to people, especially women, excuse me, especially women who may have been divorced, or maybe women who've been in relationships, a lot of times their reasoning behind wanting to be married has something to do with, number one, something they've never experienced, maybe something that they saw somewhere else. Maybe they saw it in a rom-com or some shit. And then number two, they're staying inside of a situation that they know is toxic to them. Even though it's toxic to them, they'll stay in the situation because they want to be married so bad, because it brings value to them. They feel like they're only worthy once they're married to someone. They want to be worthy to society. They're not concerned about whether they're genuinely worthy or worth something to their husband. They want society and other people to view them as a prize. And I'm like, honey, you already the prize, man. You're already the prize. You don't need to be married to be that. So, people take advice and enter their relationships. People should be verified psychologists and counselors instead of unqualified YouTube experts. Well, I think that most of the people, like I said on when I was talking about the people that I interact with them, most of them are therapists and counselors and certified, you know, some like the people that I interact with, we went to college and shit, and we, studied psychology, and, like, I was a minister, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was thinking about going back to college and to become get my certifications in counseling and stuff like that. I was actually thinking about that. But my thing is, whether a person is a licensed professional or not, it's still up to you at the end of the day to decide whether or not their advice applies to you or not. What Derek Jackson did inside of his personal life, and I said this before, what Derek Jackson did inside of his personal life has nothing to do with the kind of advice he's given, because the kind of advice he's given still applies. It's still, just because he a hypocrite doesn't mean he was giving bad advice. He was giving great advice. He was just hypocritical. Think about what he's saying. Ladies, stay away from fuck boys. Basically, he was telling you to stay away from him. That's all he was doing. And so when people get so upset at the advice like it was bad, I just be like, why? He was uplifting you. Even though he was hypocritical, he was still uplifting you. A lot of people think, oh, he was only uplifting women because he wanted to get them in bed. I don't think that's how he was when he genuinely started. I really don't. I really don't. Like, if Derek Jackson in 2021 versus Derek Jackson in 2016, two different men. When he became someone in 2016, he seemed more genuine. Like, when I was talking to him, he seemed more genuine about helping women. He seemed like he had good intentions and he meant well. He really did. So I haven't talked to him since then, so I don't know what has changed in him. I don't know if he just suddenly woke up one morning and was like, hey, I want to be a narcissist and fuck over a whole bunch of women. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that stuff that man writing in books, like I bought his single mom book. That stuff still applies. Regardless to who he is outside of the persona that he has created for women, that's none of y'all business. That's none of y'all business. And that's probably why he wasn't out here parading it around to begin with. Because you remember back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, we didn't give a fuck about these people's personal lives. We liked their music, what they were doing. That's all we weren't trying to figure out who they were dating, who they were married to. That wasn't our business. We just danced to their music. That's all Derek Jackson is. That's all he is. He's a character. He's a character. He's like a fucking mascot at a fucking football game. But everybody is like so upset to find out that he's human. It's weird to me. Everybody's so holier than thou. It's so strange. It's so strange because it's like, I don't remember any of y'all being human. Being perfect ever. Human, yeah. Perfect, meh, no. There is something that you have done that someone is turning their nose up at right now. The man ain't perfect. He said that. People who've been watching his videos for a long time, y'all have heard this man say this. I heard him say he was a player. I heard him say he wasn't perfect. I heard him say, that women should get away from men who's done some of the things he's done. He said he was a player, but people just overlook this stuff. They overlooked it. I said it. Go look in that video on my community tab. I say it in there. He said these things, and women just overlooked it. I didn't. I was like, oh, so you a player, huh? Players just don't suddenly not be players anymore. That's not how players are. Players just players. That's just their character. That's just who they are. Derek Jackson's still a player. There's no such thing as a former player. You a player or you not? Like people be like, oh, I'm a former gangster. No. You was a gangster and now you a OG. You don't just suddenly no longer be gangster. It's the same thing with players. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like once a thought, always a thought. You know what I'm saying? Like if you are a sexual person, you just real sexy. You sexy. That's you. Own it. Do it. 10 toes. Stand 10 toes. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I have a different perspective of this Derek Jackson crap, and I feel like everybody just wants to drag the dude. I'm not saying what he did wasn't wrong. I'm saying all y'all did wrong shit too during your journey. This man is 30. Do you know how much fuck shit he gonna do again before he figure out life altogether? Do you know how much fuck shit y'all probably did last year that you trying to fix? So I'm trying to explain to y'all, just because this man is celebrity and wealthy don't mean he ain't human. He human. That nigga did some fuck shit. But I knew he was like that from the beginning. And I just didn't judge him because I'm in no position to judge somebody because of the stuff I've done. Like, let me tell you something. Part of what makes me be good at giving advice to other people is my experiences. You don't have to have a license to have experience with something. My experiences alone, sometimes when I look back at some of the stories that I can tell y'all that I done been through, it's fucking crazy. It's like I couldn't make this shit up. Like I tried to tell y'all the story about the guy that pretended like he had a twin and all his family and friends was going along with the story and had me thinking it was two of them. And the nigga was bipolar and had multiple personalities. And I didn't find out until I met his goddamn wife. And me and her sat down talking, and she's like, yeah, he got two personalities. He on medication, and when he ain't on his medication, he this other personality. That shit sounds crazy, doesn't it? But it was the truth. And I'm like, God, why would you take me through such a crazy experience? When you have a calling or you have a purpose or there's a destiny or something that's put on you, that's just what it is. Some women needed to see Derek be who Derek was all that time. Just because he told people to end their relationships doesn't mean these people shouldn't have ended their relationships. I'm telling you, they probably should have. If they were treated poorly inside of their situations where they even were considering leaving their relationships, don't you think that maybe him telling them that they should leave the relationship is what he was supposed to do? Don't let his personal life affect the guidance. The guidance is still real. It's still true. He may have fucked up, but what he was telling you ain't no lie. You can go back and look at Derek Jackson's stuff and be like, yeah, he still, like, what he's saying makes sense. It still makes sense. Stop fucking with fuck boys. Fuck boys. Don't do it. Don't deal with narcissists. Don't deal with liars. Don't deal. He telling you, don't deal with niggas like me. I'm telling you what niggas gonna do. He put y'all up on game and bitches is out here mad. Bitch, you should be happy. You should be happy that this nigga took the time out while he a player to say to women, I'm avoid niggas like me. I ain't gonna tell you I'm me, but I'm gonna tell you to avoid me. Don't let me treat you like shit. That's all he was saying. And bitches is out here mad. I don't have that type of logic. Y'all I got a different I got a different perspective because I'm looking at that nigga like, yo, women always feel like the only way they can listen to somebody or get advice from somebody is if they believe that they're perfect. Kevin Samuels just did a video, I think it was tonight, earlier today, and the question was, who should young women listen to for advice? Because everybody's like, don't listen to Steve Harvey because Steve Harvey's been married twice and he was a cheater. Don't listen to Kevin Samuels because he's been divorced twice. Don't listen to Derek Jackson because he holding his wife hostage in a cult. I mean, all types of shit, right? So the question becomes, who do you listen to advice then? A licensed professional? Well, let me tell you something about y'all licensed professionals that y'all out here looking for. So I have a few relatives that have psychology degrees and they are fucked up in the head. You would have never known that they screwed up in the head. But they're your psychologist. And they're just sitting there, psychologying you. Having a job, your job is separate from who you are most times. And of course, we want people to practice what they preach and not be hypocritical. But come on, y'all. How many people are actually doing that? People are out here posting their highlight reels all day long on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all damn day. Don't tell me y'all overlooking people post a facade all day, every day. Derek Jackson ain't doing no different than what everybody else be sitting there doing, trying to pretend like their life is perfect. You cannot sit there and tell me that everybody that's posting all of this amazing shit all day, every day on Instagram have this perfect beauty, this perfect life. Since when did everybody, let me tell you something, I get on Instagram Reels, and I be like, these girls beautiful as shit. Do you realize I didn't even realize that Instagram Reels had filters? I thought these women was gorgeous. I was like, where these women are beautiful. And then I started looking like through their like little, at the bottom underneath like their description and shit, and you can see their filter. I was like, get the fuck out of here. All that time. Come on, y'all, man. He ain't doing no different than, what a whole bunch of other men doing. Men was sitting up there upset with him. I'm like, how y'all so upset with him, but y'all ain't upset with your own homies? Your own homies. Every man that's sitting there complaining about Derek Jackson on social media was either as fucked up as he is before, or they got a homeboy who just is fucked up. Oh, excuse me. And they're not saying anything. They're not complaining to them, you know? Rosalind, when you lead, you're charged to lead by example. Doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but should you at least believe in what you're selling, right? What makes you think he doesn't believe in what he's selling? Oh no, he believes it. Listen, what he's teaching women is the type of man he wants to be. That's what he's doing. Trust me, he wants to be that. He's just not it. That's what a facade is. A whole bunch of people out here pretending to be somebody they want to be that they're not. That's all he did. So I don't think that he didn't believe in what he was selling. I just feel like he wasn't 100% the man that he wanted to be. But he wanted to be it so bad, it was easy to be that on the internet. Do you know how many people put on a facade on the internet? That's been something that has been basically what people have been doing since the beginning of the time. People been faking the funk on the internet. We know this. Like, I know when I started to get on the internet real early in the 2000s, one of the things that we would always, be scared of was that somebody was going to catfish us or pretend to be something that they weren't. Because people always believed that virtual reality was not real. You could be whoever you want to be on here. That's what everybody was believing when they got on the internet. You know? Virtual reality and real life, they are two different worlds. Don't get it twisted, because it's people I know on the internet that I ain't never met in real life. It's people I talk to on the internet all the time that I will never meet in real life. You got internet people and you got real people that you just met because, they're your coworkers or they're friends of the family, or you met them in the grocery store, something like that. But when people get on the internet, they are so different. Like all these trolls. You know how you see trolls all the time? You really think that those people act like that in real life? They get the shit beat out of them. They don't just walk up to somebody in the grocery store and say the shit that they say in other people's comment sections. The stuff that trolls say in comment sections, I'd be like, you would never say that to a person if you was standing directly in front of them. People don't have that kind of balls, man. Like, nah. Too many people scared that they're going to get the shit slapped out of them. So people putting on facades on here, he ain't doing nothing different than what we've been saying. It's just because it's him. Women wanted him to be, like, women have to understand something. When it looks too good to be true, it is. That's your gut telling you this is too good to be true. This is not real. And women don't even listen to their intuition. They just drive on by it. Your intuition is God telling you that something isn't right. So when you have that feeling, oh, this dude is perfect, or this is too good to be true, that is God saying to you, this is not real. This is superficial. This is some fake. Run, girl. Run, girl. But he served his purpose, which was to be that knight in shining armor. And he said, which is funny. He did a video where he said, I'm not your knight in shining armor. Go look at his stuff. Y'all gotta pay attention. That's what it is. I don't think women pay attention. Women want that fantasy so bad. Women get caught up in rom-coms and Disney movies and the princess and got me to bring the glass slipper and gotta fight for me and get on the white horse, and because that's what we were taught. We've been taught that. Boys weren't taught that, y'all. They weren't taught that. They don't know how to be husbands and boyfriends. We were taught from the beginning of time. You got to be a wife and a girlfriend. You got to cook, you got to clean, you got to be beautiful, you got to be this, this, and this, and this, and this, so you can get a husband. You know what they telling these men? They boys? Not that. How many girlfriends you got? That's what they be saying to little boys. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. So where your girlfriend at? I got got women that see my son and they swear up and down my son is their boyfriend. They come up to me telling me, where my boyfriend at? I'm like, bitch, you are a grown-ass woman calling my 2-year-old son your boyfriend. Come on now. Do you know that stuff affects the boys? These boys are taught to have multiple women. They're taught to cheat. They're taught to lie. They're taught to manipulate. Meanwhile, women are taught the complete opposite. And then when we grow up and we try to be together, shit's all screwed up. All screwed up. And the reason why I can say this is because you have to understand, I have a 50-50 audience. I got 50% women, 50% men. I got women coming to me with their relationship problems, and I got men coming to me with their relationship problems. And what I notice about everybody is that men are taught something very different. They don't understand women. They do not understand women. And if they do understand women, their understanding of women is something as simple as, I know how to get women to have sex with me. I know how to get women to feel comfortable enough around me for me to manipulate and control them. Then you got good men out here. They're so nice. They're so good. They don't even understand why women aren't choosing them. So they're sitting there like, women don't choose nice guys. Women don't do blah, blah, blah. No, you just don't know how to get women. You just don't know how to choose good women because no one taught you. No one taught you to be in a relationship. No one taught you to be someone's husband. No one taught you how to have a selection process because that's not what they teach boys. But girls, people be like, their father was the blueprint. Honey, some of our fathers, I told y'all about my father. The newest tagline in NPD is, do you believe he's a narcissist? What the fuck is NPD? You said the new tagline in NPD. What's NPD? I'm slow. Tell me. I don't know. But if you want me to answer the question, I think everybody got a little bit of narcissism in them. I think everybody will do whatever they can to get whatever it is that they want. And it will be whatever it is that they need to be in order to get it. Oh, the newest tagline is, I thought you was saying, okay. I thought you was saying NPD was the name of something, like name of a channel or a name of a Facebook group or a name of I didn't know because you said it twice, narcissist. I was like, what? Okay, so the newest tagline in narcissist personality disorder, do you believe he's a narcissist? I believe everyone has a tad bit of narcissism in there. I feel like people will be the type of person that they feel like they need to be in order to get what the fuck they want. And then you got people who are better at it than others. Every time you see that charming man who looks the part and he looks too much like the part, he's a narcissist. Because no one is perfect like that. No one. No one. I'm telling you, you can look at Derek Jackson and be like, oh, he had the muscles and that damn suit on. He was all articulate and shit. Just women was out here moist. Okay, it was like, Derek Jackson, you know what I'm saying? He was too perfect. That should have been the red flag for women right there. He was way too perfect. When they way too charming like that, when they way too much of the nice guy like that, it's not real. It's not real. And that gets confusing for women because when we're looking for men, we're looking for those things. We're expecting men to be that way. And that's why it's so hard to tell the difference between a nice guy and a fuckboy. It's hard because a fuckboy will put on that facade like he's genuinely that guy, just like Derek did. Just like Derek did. So it's hard. So I feel for women. That's why I try to tell women, don't be pressed to be married. Don't be pressed to, don't be afraid to lose them. They are expendable. It's more fuckboys out there. It's more men out there pretending to be the man that you want than it is actually the man that you want, because you only want one man. It's only one person that's going to fit with you. You don't want to marry, you don't want to have 5 husbands, you only want one. So it's easy for 5 or 10 men to act like they're the man of your dreams. That's easy because they know what the man of your dreams is. All they got to do is turn on a goddamn romantic comedy or a damn Disney princess movie, and they know what kind of man you want, because that's what was programmed into our minds. That's what we were taught to believe a man is. So these men, all they got to do is turn on any movie. I swear to God, especially Tyler Perry shit. Turn that shit on. And you see that dude that was the bus driver in that movie. What was that movie? What's that movie where Boris Cujo was a bus driver? That perfect ass movie. Come on, man. He was just so cool for no reason. He was just a bus driver just trying to holler. You know? So, I mean, I just want women to be more, I don't know, just don't care as much. Y'all care too much. Y'all care way too much, man. And I'm not saying this because I was this woman too. I was the one that wanted to be married. I was the one that was pressed. But I'm telling you, man, these men are not what you think they are. They're not all of that. They will do anything to get you. And some of them will do anything just to have sex with you. Just to say that they had sex with you specifically sometimes. Do you know how many men want to sleep with me just so they can say they slept with Soncerae? Do you know how many men are out here lying on their dick right now, swearing we had sex with each other? Just so they can get some type of adoration from another motherfucking beta male? That's happening, y'all. That's some real shit. So at some point as women, you gotta stop thinking of men as the prize, man. And I'm not saying dog men out, disrespect men, lie to men, manipulate men. Don't be doing all that stupid shit, because then you just as bad as them. Just as bad as them. I'm saying don't be so pressed where you are trying to force a man to become what you want him to be, that you see all of these red flags, and instead of you leaving them alone, you keep trying to mold them into the type of man you want. Don't do that. And please don't be so pressed to be married, because marriage is not the wedding. The wedding is a one-day event. When that wedding is over, that marriage starts, and it's a completely different situation. Women think that wedding is every day of the marriage. Hell nah. Hell no. That's not marriage. I gotta go, y'all. I gotta handle my business. Hit me up if you need some relationship advice. You know what, hit me. Contact at Soncerae.com, or just hit me up on Instagram. Bye, y'all.